Hey, Ray, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com going over another one of my libraries. You can find all my libraries over here at alexmercedcoder.com/jslib. Lots of great libraries. So there are a lot of things that kind of overlap from library to library because a lot of them are web component based. And the next one I'll be talking about is web component based as well. It's ComponentZoo. ComponentZoo is called ComponentZoo because it has a variety of components and component base classes to do all sorts of types of component creation. So you can find some sort of base class that might work for you. So I'll show you some of the more unique things. It does also keep all the component classes I built in other libraries. So the Merced UI base class is in there, the basic element base class is in there, along with many of the other component creation tools. And the chain element base class is there as well. So all that's in there in ComponentZoo, along with a bunch of other stuff. Now let's take a look at the size of the library. So basic element was just 1 kilobyte. So ComponentZoo is 10 kilobytes. So 10 kilobytes, you get a whole bunch of stuff. And it's literally a zoo of components, including, again, Merced element. So you can, if you like Merced UI and you like using Merced element, you'll have that in ComponentZoo plus a bunch of other stuff. Cool. So let's just do the usual. Go to github.com. Well, actually, let me open up in a separate tab. So we go to ComponentZoo. And technically, this page here is created using the Merced UI library. So so let's actually show you the code. Okay, there's inspector. Go to sources. If we go to the app.js, so this is like the code that I use. Yep. And there's all my components. So each of these is a button that triggers a rendering of the component over here. Okay. It doesn't look too bad. Cool. So that's the thing. Now back to GitHub. Right click, open a new tab. And here we go, ComponentZoo. So I'm going to do this again as a CDN link just to save us some time. So I'm going to copy over just the CDN version of it for the script tag. So save link as. And I'm going to put that videos. No, not videos. It's in this folder over here. There we go. So that's saved. So this again shows up right over here. See, ComponentZoo.js. Okay, so there's the library. This one's a little bit longer because a lot more stuff going on here. Okay, some of the stuff you're familiar with. Okay, there's fun component that I'm going to do a separate video on because I have that in a separate library as well. That's actually really cool. RenderGroup. Okay, let's actually do RenderGroup first. That's fun. Okay, so let's first clear out our HTML file. And let me just change this to ComponentZoo. Cool. Now what is RenderGroup? So RenderGroup is, actually I'm going to keep this element because I'm going to need that. Okay. Okay, what render element does is it allows you to create a group, to group elements that you would want to render at the same time. So imagine that I did this. So I'm creating this component. So you might have seen me create this component back when I did the video on basic element. Basic element is part of this library, so this will still work. But let's say I want to include a third piece of information here that's like just a non-prop, non-state information. So we'll just say const hello. No, const cheese equals Gouda. Okay. Now, so on top of that, top of everything else, on top of everything I'm interpolating here, I'm also going to interpolate cheese. And cheese is a global variable with global scope, but it's not state. So if I were to change the cheese variable, it will not automatically render this component. Okay? But let's say I went back and we created 3 instances of that component. So let's do it. Okay, test, test, world equals world. Test, test. Okay. And then I'm going to just create a couple more. In this case, this time it'll be country. And in this time, it'll be called city. Okay, so technically what this component will do will be like hello world, hello country, hello city. So now if I go back over here and I hit refresh, see hello world, and there's the cheese. Hello world Gouda, hello country Gouda, hello city Gouda. Okay, now what if I want to change the cheese? But it's not state. Again, if I change cheese, it's not state, so it won't automatically re-render. And I want to re-render all 3 of them. Okay, and actually what I want to do is actually put these in a render group. So the render group is not a class. It's a class, but it's really a component. And I'll wrap these 3 inside a render group. Okay. Nice. Render group. Okay. And then again, I could, if I was using more than one, I could give it an ID so that way I can grab a particular one. Okay. So there's my render group. And let me just re-look at the documentation, or we'll just take a look at the library. ComponentZoo, render group. What's the function I'm looking for? Oh, it's just render. Okay. Cool. So let's see here. Nope, not there. Here. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go grab the, we're gonna create a function. So const update cheese equals no parameters. Okay, and all this is gonna do is that first we are going to take cheese, and I need to change that to a let so we can actually reassign it. So we're gonna let cheese, and cheese will equal American. Okay, and then the next line, document dot query selector. We will then choose our render group, and then we're going to use its render method. Okay, and that's what it, basically what it does is just going to take a look at all of its child components, anything that it's wrapped around, and then trigger their render functions. So that way each of those components re-render. Okay, so there's the function. Right now I don't have anything calling the function. So I'm going to go back and change this button. We'll actually have to remake the button. Button. This time I'm just going to put the onClick function just for brevity. OnClick equals update cheese. Click me. Cool. And basically, now let's go back over here, refresh. So now when I click this, it's going to update cheese and then trigger a re-rendering of those 3 components. So the state didn't change. I'm just changing this other variable, and then I just wanted to re-render these particular components. And something didn't work right there. So let's, maybe I used the wrong function. Let's see here. Update cheese. Update cheese. Cheese equals American. Render group dot render. Let me take a look at how I wrote this. If I made a mistake here. Not in the code. It was working. I had tested this out before already. So slotted equals slot nodes for each Let's see here. Document.query selector. Render group. Render group. I messed up the way I did the HTML. Render group. Test, test, test. Take a look at basic element. Yeah, so that should work. Okay, I think I figured out why. It's because I did not defer ComponentZoo. So let's try that, see if that makes a difference before I do one other thing. No. Actually, come to think about it, I never actually refixed my app.js. That would do it, because I was testing it. So let me fix this. That's the reason that last thing did not work. Control X. Get rid of that. Put this back to the picture. And get rid of all this. And make that render. Save. Let's refresh. Click me. And it works. Okay, so basically the idea behind RenderGroup is you can create a group of elements that you can render at the same time. And you can make multiple groups of elements. You just wrap them in the RenderGroup component. Okay, so there's that. Then let's talk about the MyForm component. So MyForm. Okay. And then we basically just wrap that, and you just wrap a form in MyForm. Okay, you just have to have a form tag. Slash MyForm. Okay, and then let's just do one little input here. Input type equals text. Name equals my field. And that's good enough. Okay. Save. Cool. And all this does is just gives you, basically this is just a component version of the form tool from Merced UI. I just basically altered it from being a class that you bind to the form to you just wrap it around a form and it just works. So watch this. Nope, that's the ComponentZoo. So if I go to app.js, or no, go to app.js. We're going to grab the form, so we'll just do const form equals document dot query selector form. And now I watch this. I can console.log. I can basically form.grab values. I can grab that form's values and console log them, or I can do whatever I want with them. Just grabs them, turns them into an object. So I hit refresh. Well, I should do that with a button. Cannot read property children of null. I'll revisit that. Okay, so what I forgot to do is I have to give this ID a form. So it'll be form. We'll just say 1, and then this one has to have a matching ID. So technically, you don't even have to wrap my form in it. ID and 1. So the idea is that basically what happens is that this will wrap and then bind itself to a form that has the same ID as this form property. And let me just make sure that's the right property. This property, yeah, form. Okay, so I hit save. And now this should work. Just refresh. Yep. Again, there's no values in there, so that doesn't really help. So what I could do is I could put values in there. So I could do like form dot fill fields. And then I just put in an object, and then since that one, what's that one, the name of that one field? My field, that's the only field we're going to fill in. So my field will be hello. Save. So essentially it's going to fill the field, and then we'll grab the values from the field. Okay, form fill fields. It's not a function. So this is why I should have read the documentation of my own library before I did this. Fill fields. Did I spell that wrong? Fill fields. Form oh, I grabbed the form. That's why. I need to grab my form. There we go. That should fix it. And there you go. See, it fills the field, and then you can see here I grab the values. Oh, I forgot to invoke the function. Man, I am tired today. Okay, save. And that should do it. Cool. So there you go. So it fills the field, and then there again, I grab the field's values. Nice. And then I can actually just clear the field. So now I can be like form dot clear form, and then it'll clear the form. So we'll see everything kind of happen. You don't see the form because it got cleared, but you see it did have hello because we can see it in the console log here. So that just makes it really easy to edit forms, get the values of forms, clear a form. It's a very nice component. Okay, and then the last thing that's sort of unique to ComponentZoo is the StyledWrapper base class. Here we go, StyledWrapper. And the basic idea here is this: is you're creating a wrapper to style the components that are inside of it. Okay. So in this case, the way this would work, go to my app.js. I'm going to create a new field or a new class. Class purple text. Class purple text extends styled wrapper. Okay. And okay, and basically all I have to do is just define this one function, so I don't even have to invoke the bring up the constructor. So I'll just do style, and this just basically returns my styling. Return of anything that's wrapped in this. So return any slotted, and you have to use slotted because basically anything that's it's wrapped around is slotted. So we'll say a slotted div, or actually a slotted h1. We'll make the color purple. Actually, we'll make it blue. Save. Okay, and then basically I have to register that. So I'll just copy that from over here. Purple text. Purple text. Save. Then I can go over here. We'll make an h1. So first we'll bring in the field purple text. Purple text. Okay, and then here we'll put an H1. Hello world. And I made the text blue now that I think about it, but whatever. Save. And you see, the component wraps around and styles it. Okay, so you can create styled components, but not just styled components in React. You can create styled components that work in your DOM as well. So these are sort of the three sort of really unique things that are unique to ComponentZoo. Again, the render group, the MyForm component, and the StyledWrapper. It also has a lot of the base classes from the other libraries: Merced element, basic element, chain element, and fun component. But I'll make a separate video on fun component. But yeah, so it all works. It's all there. Enjoy. And again, you guys can get those access to those libraries right over here at alexmercedcoder.com/jslib.